Well, thank you, Professor, for joining me for my video for the Shakespeare Oxford Fellowship video contest.
Oxfordians are jerks. They're like Holocaust deniers.
Well, on the subject of Oxfordians, what do you make of all the parallels between incidents in the life of Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford, and the works of Shakespeare?
Yes, I always tell my students, don't fall into the trap of supposing the works are autobiographical. That is an illusion. Shakespeare always kept himself well disguised. The man isn't visible. He didn't insert his own opinions or comment on the topical controversies of the day.
Say, what do you think about the recent research into the illegal grain hoarding that Shakespeare of Stratford did during a time of famine?
It has given new force to the old arguments about the contemporaneity of the grain hoarding scenes in Coriolanus.
Well, do you think then that all the parallels between the character of Polonius in Hamlet and the real-life Lord Burleigh might display contemporaneity too? Burleigh was Oxford's father-in-law.
Don't be drawn into the trap of assuming the works are autobiographical.
But you just said about the
Oxfordians are conspiracy theorists. They approach Hamlet via fantastically cryptic supposed parallels between Lord Burleigh and the character of Polonius.
Weren't traditional scholars pointing out those parallels 50 years before there even were Oxfordians?
Well, plain old intuition inclines me to the view that the dramatist who anglicized the name of the historical Amleth, Prince of Denmark, was a certain Stratfordian who named his son after his friend Hamlet Sadler.
Well, actually, Shakespeare's son and friend were named Hamnet, not Hamlet. But so now it is permissible to look for autobiographical elements in Shakespeare's works. So what do you think then about the fact that in that same play, Hamlet is captured by pirates who recognize him and release him when they realize who he is, and they leave him stripped naked on the beach, and that exact same thing happened to Edward de Vere, the Earl of Oxford?
Don't be drawn into the trap of assuming the works are autobiographical.
By the way, what do you think about the use of the phrase hate away in the sonnet 145?
It's a pun on the name of Anne Hathaway, Shakespeare's wife. It would make sense for this sonnet to be about her because she was the rock on which he relied throughout his life.
So now the works are autobiographical. So as long as we're on elements in the sonnets, what do you think about the fact that Shakespeare repeatedly refers to himself as old, lame, poor, and in disgrace, when none of those things apply to Shakespeare of Stratford, but they all apply to Edward de Vere?
Don't be drawn into the trap of supposing the works are autobiographical. Shakespeare kept himself well disguised. The man was invisible. Oxfordians are jerks. They're dogmatic and abusive. Doubting Shakespeare's authorship is a form of mental illness.